Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're stepping into the future of medicine.
Oh,
It's 2025 and beyond, and we have a really fascinating article here from Health Science Nation Media Group
oh,
called 10 Technologies That Will Transform Medicine in 2025,
wow.
published just this past week. So it's hot off the presses, and we are going to go
Oh,
deep
yeah.
on these 10 groundbreaking technologies that could change how we think about health and well-being.
I think what's so fascinating about this article is that these technologies are already in motion.
Right.
Like they're already making their way from research labs
Exactly.
into the real world with real benefits for patients.
Yeah, it's not just theory anymore.
Yeah.
So let's dive right into the first big idea,
Right.
AI and precision medicine.
Okay.
So imagine a world where treatments are tailored to not just your illness, but to your unique DNA,
Wow.
your lifestyle, even your environment.
Good.
It's like having a medical plan designed specifically for you.
Yeah, it's the end of the one-size-fits-all approach to healthcare. And this article highlights some incredible work happening at Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center,
Okay.
where they're using AI systems to analyze millions of cancer cases,
Wow.
searching for patterns and connections that human doctors might miss.
And they're having a lot of success with it, too.
Oh, yeah.
I was reading that they're able to predict treatment outcomes with over 90% accuracy.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's like having a preview of how well a treatment will work before you even start.
It's a huge step forward for cancer care.
Mhm.
But the potential of AI-powered precision medicine goes way beyond that.
Oh, absolutely.
This technology is also poised to revolutionize how we manage chronic diseases like diabetes.
So instead of just reacting to symptoms, we could actually predict complications years in advance.
Precisely.
Wow.
Think about it. This kind of early intervention could not only improve your health outcomes, but also potentially save you from years of expensive and disruptive medical treatments down the line.
It's a game changer, especially for people living with chronic conditions.
Oh.
All right, ready for something even more mind-blowing?
I am always ready.
Let's talk about brain-computer interfaces, or BCIs.
Okay.
This is where science fiction starts to feel very real.
It does.
We're talking about devices that create a direct communication pathway between your brain
Wow.
and external devices.
Okay.
The article focuses on how BCIs are being used to treat neurological conditions, and the progress is remarkable.
Yeah, imagine a world where paralyzed individuals can control robotic limbs with their thoughts, or where people with locked-in syndrome can communicate through a computer interface.
Yeah, those scenarios used to be pure fantasy, but now companies like Neuralink and Synchron are turning them into reality.
It's incredible.
They're developing these tiny implantable devices that can read brain signals and translate them into actions.
And the level of precision is incredible.
Oh, yeah.
The article mentions that these BCIs can interpret neural signals with such detail that paralyzed patients can do things like grab objects or even write with a robotic arm.
It's almost like having a digital extension of your mind. But the potential goes beyond physical movement, right?
Yeah.
The article also talked about using BCIs to treat mental health conditions.
That's right. Researchers are exploring how BCIs can monitor brain activity to detect signs of depression, anxiety, PTSD, and then deliver targeted neurostimulation. Basically, precisely targeted electrical impulses to try and alleviate those symptoms before they become severe.
It makes you wonder how this kind of technology could change how we approach mental health care in the future.
I think about that all the time.
Okay, ready for another deep dive?
Hit me.
Let's talk about smart implants.
Okay.
Smart implants take the idea of implantable medical devices to a whole new level.
Okay.
We're not just talking about pacemakers or artificial joints anymore.
Right.
These implants actively monitor your health, analyze data, and can even make decisions about your treatment in real time.
Wow. So it's like having a mini doctor living inside your body, keeping an eye on everything 24/7.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And these implants aren't just tracking your steps or heart rate.
Yeah.
We're talking about sophisticated sensors that can monitor everything from blood flow and pressure to biochemical markers and signs of inflammation.
Wow.
So instead of waiting for symptoms to appear, these implants could alert your doctor to potential problems before they even arise.
The article gives an example from the field of cardiac care.
Okay.
Imagine an implant that not only keeps your heart beating regularly, but also monitors blood flow patterns and pressure changes, and can even detect early signs of heart failure.
And some of these smart implants can actually intervene in real time, right?
It can.
Like if it detects a dangerous, irregular heartbeat,
Uh-huh.
it can deliver a corrective impulse before you even feel a symptom.
That's the incredible part. It's like having a built-in safety net for your health.
Wow.
And it's not just limited to the heart.
Oh,
Or think about orthopedic implants that can monitor joint health, detect early signs of infection, and maybe even adjust their function based on your activity level.
all of this raises some interesting questions, though.
It does.
As these devices become more intelligent and potentially autonomous, how much control are we willing to hand over to them?
Yeah, that's a good question.
And what about data privacy?
Mhm.
Who has access to all the information these implants are gathering?
Those are valid concerns and ones that we need to address as this technology continues to advance.
Absolutely.
But let's shift gears now and talk about something a little closer to home.
Okay.
Advanced wearables.
Okay.
We've seen the evolution from simple fitness trackers to devices that can monitor a wider range of health data.
Uh-huh.
But what's next for this technology?
I'm intrigued. What kind of things are these next-gen wearables capable of tracking?
Think of it this way. Your sweat is like a fingerprint of your internal state.
Okay.
Advanced wearables use biosensors that can read that fingerprint to see if you're stressed, dehydrated, or even lacking certain nutrients.
Hmm.
They can also track blood pressure and heart rate variability continuously throughout the day.
So no more awkward inflating cuffs at the doctor's office.
Exactly. And one of the most exciting advancements is in glucose monitoring.
Okay.
New wearables are eliminating the need for those finger prick tests for people with diabetes.
Wow.
They use sensors to continuously track glucose levels and can even predict potential spikes or crashes before they happen.
That's incredible news for anyone managing diabetes.
It is.
But what really caught my eye is the potential for these wearables to integrate with broader healthcare systems.
That's right. Imagine your smartwatch detecting an irregular heart rhythm and automatically alerting your cardiologist, adding that data point to your electronic health record in real time.
Wow.
It's like having a constant dialogue between your body and your doctor, even when you're not at the clinic.
This all points to a future where healthcare is more personalized, proactive, and data-driven.
Yeah.
It seems like we're moving away from reacting to illness and toward predicting and preventing it.
You're absolutely right. It's a fundamental shift in how we approach healthcare. And the article goes on to explore 6 more groundbreaking technologies
Really?
that are pushing us even further in that direction.
Okay.
Are you ready to continue our deep dive?
Absolutely lead the way. I'm eager to hear what other medical marvels await us.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, let's jump into the next wave of medical innovation. The article takes us from the microscopic world of sensors to something that sounds straight out of a science fiction movie: 3D printed organs.
It's an area that's been gaining a lot of momentum, and for good reason. We're talking about the potential to create functional tissues and even simple organs using 3D bioprinting. It involves biocompatible materials and living cells, essentially creating a blueprint for the body to build upon.
So instead of waiting for a donor organ, which can take years, we could potentially just print a new one.
That's the long-term goal, and we're seeing real progress. Scientists have successfully printed skin grafts for burn victims, created cartilage for damaged joints, and even bioengineered blood vessels.
That's remarkable. But what about the really complex organs like hearts, livers, kidneys? Are we anywhere close to printing those?
Those organs are certainly more complex, but the progress is still impressive. Researchers are working on bioprinting functional units of these organs, like heart valves or liver nodules. The challenge is creating the intricate networks of blood vessels and supporting structures that allow those organs to function properly within the body.
It sounds like a massive undertaking, but the possibilities are incredible. Imagine a world where organ transplantation is no longer limited by donor availability.
It would revolutionize how we treat organ failure and other life-threatening conditions. But like many of these advancements, 3D printed organs raise ethical questions about access, affordability, and even what it means to be human.
These are definitely discussions we need to have as this technology evolves. Okay, the article takes us from the physical realm into the digital world next, with virtual and augmented reality in healthcare. I usually associate VR and AR with gaming, so how do they fit into the future of medicine?
They're becoming increasingly valuable tools in areas like medical training, surgical planning, patient rehabilitation, and even pain management.
Okay, I'm curious. Give me some examples. How would a doctor actually use these technologies?
Imagine medical students practicing complex surgeries in a VR simulation. It's a safe and controlled environment where they can hone their skills before ever stepping into a real operating room. or picture surgeons using AR overlays during surgery to see critical anatomical structures with greater precision, almost like X-ray vision superimposed on the real world.
Wow, that's an amazing visual. But it sounds like VR and AR can benefit patients directly, too.
Absolutely. VR can create immersive experiences for patients undergoing physical therapy, making rehabilitation more engaging and motivating. And there's evidence that VR can even help manage chronic pain by distracting patients from their discomfort and promoting relaxation.
So these technologies can change healthcare from the inside out, from how doctors are trained to how patients experience treatment.
Exactly. And we're just scratching the surface. Now the article dives into some even more futuristic territory: gene editing, nanorobotics, and quantum computing in healthcare.
Okay, those sound like topics ripped from the headlines of a science fiction novel. Let's start with gene editing. I remember hearing about CRISPR a few years back, but it seemed mostly theoretical at the time. Are we really at the point where we can edit genes to cure diseases in humans?
It's still early, but the field is advancing rapidly. Gene editing technologies like CRISPR-Cas9 give us the ability to manipulate DNA, essentially rewriting the code of life. It has incredible potential for treating genetic diseases, developing new therapies, and potentially even enhancing human capabilities.
So instead of just treating the symptoms of a genetic disease, we could potentially correct the underlying genetic problem.
That's the idea. CRISPR has already been used in clinical trials for certain types of cancer and blood disorders, with some encouraging results. And researchers are investigating its potential for a wide range of genetic conditions, from cystic fibrosis to muscular dystrophy.
It sounds incredibly powerful. What about the potential downsides? Are there ethical concerns surrounding gene editing?
Absolutely. Gene editing raises important ethical and societal questions, especially when it comes to germline editing. That involves making changes to genes that could be passed down to future generations.
Those are definitely weighty considerations. Okay, let's move on to our next futuristic topic. Nanorobotics. I'm picturing microscopic robots swimming through the bloodstream like something out of Fantastic Voyage. Is that what we're talking about?
You're on the right track. While we're not shrinking people down just yet, nanorobotics is a rapidly developing field with huge potential for targeted drug delivery, precision surgery, and early disease detection.
So instead of giving a drug that affects the entire body, we could use nanobots to deliver medication directly to the specific cells or tissues that need it.
Exactly. Imagine using nanobots to deliver chemotherapy directly to a tumor, minimizing damage to healthy cells and reducing the side effects of traditional chemotherapy.
That would be a game changer for cancer treatment. What about surgery? How could we use these tiny robots in that context?
Think of it as microsurgery at the cellular level. Nanobots could be used to unblock arteries, repair damaged tissues, or even target and destroy individual cancer cells with incredible accuracy.
It sounds both fascinating and a little unnerving to imagine these tiny robots working inside your body.
It does blur the line between biology and technology, but the potential benefits, especially for treating currently difficult or impossible to treat conditions, are hard to ignore.
Okay, the last technology on the list is quantum computing. I remember it from physics class, but it seemed incredibly complex. How does it relate to healthcare?
Quantum computing leverages the principles of quantum mechanics to perform calculations beyond the capabilities of even the most powerful traditional computers. This has enormous implications for drug discovery, disease modeling, and personalized medicine.
Can you break that down a bit? What does it mean for patients in practical terms?
Imagine using quantum computers to simulate the complex interactions of molecules within the human body, allowing us to design drugs with pinpoint accuracy and predict their effectiveness with unprecedented certainty.
So we could design drugs tailored to a person's specific genetic makeup and disease profile.
Precisely. Quantum computing also allows us to create incredibly detailed models of diseases, helping us understand their underlying mechanisms and develop more effective treatments. It's like having a virtual laboratory where we can test and refine new therapies before they're ever used on humans.
This all feels so futuristic. It's exciting to imagine the possibilities, but I can't help but wonder about the potential downsides and ethical challenges that come with such rapid advancement.
You're right, and that's exactly what we'll explore in the final part of our deep dive. These technologies have incredible potential to improve our lives, but it's crucial to consider how to manage them responsibly and ensure they benefit everyone.
So we've covered some really mind-blowing advancements in this deep dive, from AI doctors to gene editing and even microscopic robots. But as with any powerful tool, it's important to consider the potential downsides and ethical considerations that come with these technologies.
Absolutely. It's not enough to just marvel at the cool factor.
Right.
We have to think about the potential challenges and how to ensure these advancements benefit everyone, not just a select few.
Exactly. For example, with personalized medicine, how do we make sure these cutting-edge treatments are accessible to everyone, not just those who can afford them?
That's a crucial question.
Yeah.
And the article touches on that.
Okay.
The risk of exacerbating existing healthcare inequalities if these expensive tailored treatments are only available to the wealthy.
Right.
It could create a new kind of healthcare divide where access to life-extending therapies is determined by your financial status.
That would be a major setback. And what about the massive amounts of data being collected by all these new technologies?
Yeah.
Who owns that data and how is it being used?
Data privacy is another critical concern. If wearable devices and smart implants are constantly monitoring our health,
Right.
we need to be sure that information is being handled responsibly and ethically.
Mm-hmm.
We need safeguards to prevent that data from being used against us,
Right.
for example, by insurance companies or employers.
It's a tricky balance. We want the benefits of personalized proactive care, but we also don't want to sacrifice our privacy in the process.
Precisely. And it's not just about data privacy. We also need to be mindful of the potential for misuse of some of these technologies.
Mm-hmm.
Take gene editing, for example. It has the potential to cure diseases,
Right.
but it could also be used for less noble purposes, like enhancing certain traits in ways that could create new forms of inequality.
Yeah, it's like opening a door to a whole new set of ethical dilemmas.
It is.
How do we harness the power of these technologies for good while guarding against potential harm?
It's a question that requires careful thought and collaborations. Scientists, policymakers, ethicists, and the public all need to be part of the conversation.
Well, this deep dive has given us a lot to ponder.
It has.
It's exciting to think about all the ways these technologies could improve healthcare,
Yeah.
but it's also important to approach them with a healthy dose of caution and critical thinking.
I think the biggest takeaway for our listeners is that the future of healthcare is in constant flux,
Mm-hmm.
and it's important to stay informed and engaged. These technologies have the potential to impact our lives in profound ways.
Right.
So we need to be active participants in shaping how they're developed and used.
That's a great point. Don't just passively accept whatever technological innovations come along. Ask questions, do your research, and make your voice heard when it comes to ethical considerations and access to these potentially life-changing advancements.
Remember, the future of medicine isn't something that just happens to us.
Right.
It's something we create together through our
Yeah.
choices, our values, and our commitment to a healthier, more equitable world for everyone.
Well said. That's a wrap for this deep dive into the future of medicine. We hope you found it informative, thought-provoking, and maybe even a little bit inspiring. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay well.